Hi, welcome to Record Time. This week, the keepers of the Akashic Records are asking us, are you trying hard in the wrong direction? Are you trying hard in the wrong direction? And we can take the word wrong lightly. You can put quotes around it. You can soften it a little bit. It's not so serious. And perhaps another way to kind of feel into this question is, what direction are you putting your effort in? And we'll dive into what that means. So there's this kind of looming sense as people, as humans, we have this kind of looming sense of right and wrong. And so this question, are you trying hard in the wrong direction, can be a little activating because we don't want to do it wrong. Many of us don't want to do it wrong, whatever it is. And what the records are asking with this is, are you oriented towards naturalness, your naturalness? Are you organizing and directing your efforts in the direction that is most aligned with your nature, your unique nature? And in that sense, another way to kind of feel into that is, are you oriented towards the direction of ease? Or are you in the habit, in the rhythm of trying hard for the sake of trying hard? Or are you trying hard and used to grinding your gears a little bit? Do you get some satisfaction out of some of the grit and the gear grinding kind of stuff? It almost feels like a little crunchy as I'm saying it, right? It's like this teeth gnashing kind of feeling. So is that what you're used to? And that's okay if you are. And this, as usual, is just an invitation to notice where you are on this spectrum. And it's not that there's a right way and a wrong way. It's really like a spectrum. You can think of it as 360 degrees, right? A gradient, something that's analog instead of discrete, right? Instead of two options, you have infinite options and infinite ways to do something. So you can think of it more like a spectrum of how oriented are you towards doing things in the tune, in the rhythm of your own nature. And maybe there are certain areas of your life where you excel at that and you do that. It's very easy to just be in the rhythm of your own nature. And maybe in other areas of your life, you're used to being asked to do things in a certain way. And that's something to pay attention to. Where is it that you're being asked not only to get a result, to do something, to complete a task, but to also get that result, to arrive at that result in a specific way? That could be a topic. That could be a place for inquiry and reflection, to just notice, how does it feel to do things in this way that's been prescribed to me versus how I might get there on my own? And that is a very rich area of inquiry. That's a great place to kind of contemplate. And the records and I want to note that we don't always have a choice, right? Sometimes we are being expected to do something in a specific way to get a specific type of result, and there's not a lot of wiggle room. So I completely understand that. And perhaps either as a thought exercise or in a different area of your life, you can at least consider, play with this idea of, if I wasn't being told how to do what I'm trying to do, it's the how. We're looking at the path, the way we're arriving at the desired result. The desired result might be the same, but it's what we're looking at right now is how we're getting there. Are we going a straight line? Are we going this way? Are we going this way? Are we zigzagging? What's the route on Waze or Google Maps or whatever? It's like, how are we getting there? Which route do we want to take? That's what we're sitting with. So it's like, if I didn't have Google Maps telling me exactly how to get there, how might I get there on my own? If I didn't have someone giving me a step-by-step list of instructions on how to do something, what would it be like? Would I know how to get there? And if I pushed that aside, what would be my way of doing that? If I had to invent my own way of doing this, what would that be like? If no other way existed, if I was going to a place that no one had discovered yet, and there were no pre-existing routes to this place, how would I get there? If there was no map, if there was nothing to reference, I could just see the spot on the horizon, how would I get there? And from that place, there's this interesting kind of like opportunity to notice, what would you be looking at? What would you be listening for? What would you be sensing if you were trusted with this task of arriving to the specific place, of carrying yourself, guiding yourself to a specific place? And that doesn't mean you're doing it by yourself. Part of your process might be asking for help in the material sense, in the relational sense, in the spiritual sense, right? Calling in helpers on all planes. That might be part of your process. So that's the inquiry for today. That's the invitation for today. What direction are you putting your effort in? And if you are more used to, more just in the practice of following a set of instructions that have been given to you, or even like thrust upon you and expected of you, what would it be like to start to play in a totally different area of your life where you have complete freedom? What would it be like to play with finding, discovering what your own way of doing things even is? How do you know this is aligned with your nature? And how do you know something is not aligned with your nature? These are the spaces and places that you can play in. That's the invitation this week. I'm sure we could go on and on about this, but I'm going to leave this right here for today. And if you take some time to contemplate this, I would love to know what you discover. If you learn something about yourself, or if you discover something unique about your process, please tell me. I am so curious. I would love to know what you discover from this inquiry. So if that calls to you, if you'd be so generous to share your wisdom with me, you can leave a comment here or send me a message through my website, which is minaruchi.com. And I'd love to hear from you. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm wishing you well. Until next time. Namaste.